AmericanDraqon presents Chinese medicine in America. My name is Joel Penner. I'm a doctor of Oriental medicine, a California acupuncturist, and a professor of Oriental medicine. I'm also co-author of the textbook, Zong Fu Syndromes, Differential Diagnosis and Treatment. In this episode, I will be talking about the Fu, or Yang organs. At this point, it is very important for me to remind you that even though they share the same names, the Chinese organs are vastly different from the Western organs. If you try to impose your Western understanding on the Chinese organs, you will get completely confused. Only in certain instances do they overlap. The Zong Fu are energy or qi transformers in a complex bioenergetic system, and their functions relate to their qi transformation processes. While the yin organs, the zong, are solid and function to ensure the production of all the vital substances of the body, including qi, blood, jing, and body fluids, the yang organs, the fu, are hollow and allow for space, storage, and movement. There are 4 organs that we will be discussing in this episode. We'll start with the stomach. The stomach is probably the most important of the yang organs. It is an earth element and is related to the spleen. The stomach controls rotting and ripening of food. It prepares the ground for the spleen to separate and extract the refined qi from foods by fermenting or rotting and ripening. After transformation in the stomach, the food is passed down to the small intestine for further separation and absorption. The stomach is said to be the origin of qi in the body. No matter how serious the disease, if stomach qi is still strong, the prognosis is good. The stomach controls the transportation of food, or gu qi. The stomach, along with the spleen, is responsible for transporting gu qi to the whole body, and in particular, the limbs. From this point of view, they are inseparable and are often referred to as the spleen stomach. If the stomach is deficient, it will be weak and will lack the qi necessary to transport gu qi to the body. The person will feel fatigued and suffer from weakness of the muscles. The stomach's control of the transportation of food qi also has an influence on the pulses. It ensures that the qi of the organs reaches the pulse. A pulse with good stomach qi is completely balanced. It is also soft and gentle. The stomach's control of the transportation of food qi also influences the tongue coat, which is formed as a byproduct of the stomach's rotting and ripening activity. A thin, white coat indicates that the stomach is functioning properly. No coat indicates that the stomach function is impaired. A thick white coat indicates stomach cold. A thick yellow coat indicates stomach heat. The stomach controls the descending of qi. The stomach sends transformed food downwards to the small intestine. If stomach qi fails to descend, food will stagnate and there will be fullness and distension, belching, hiccuping, nausea, and vomiting. The next organ is the small intestine, which is the element fire and is related to the heart. It controls receiving and transforming. It receives food and drink which have been transformed through the process of digestion by the spleen and stomach. It separates the clean, reusable parts from the dirty parts. The clean is transported by the spleen to all parts of the body to nourish the tissues. The dirty parts are transmitted to the large intestine for excretion as stool and to the bladder to be excreted as urine. The small intestine has a direct functional relationship with the bladder and influences urinary function. It has the function of separating fluids. As I mentioned before, after being digested in the stomach, fluids are passed down to the small intestine for further separation into a clean, reusable part and a dirty part. The clean part is transmitted to the large intestine for reabsorption, and the dirty part is passed to the bladder for excretion as urine. If the small intestine function is impaired, There may be excessive or scanty urination, depending on whether the organ is cold or hot. The third fu organ we will talk about is the gallbladder, which is the element wood and related to the liver. The gallbladder is unique among the fu organs, as it is the only one that does not deal with food, drink, and their waste products. The gallbladder stores and excretes bile, which is a refined product. It does not communicate with the exterior directly, as all of the other yang organs do, either via the mouth, rectum, or urethra. It acts almost like a yin organ, since it stores a refined substance. It receives bile from the liver and stores it, ready to excrete it when needed during digestion. This is very similar to its Western function. It is the only yang organ that stores a clean fluid rather than the dirty products of digestion. It also aids the spleen and stomach. When liver qi is stagnant, bile flow is impaired and digestion is compromised because smooth bile flow depends on smooth liver qi circulation. The gallbladder influences the capacity for making decisions. It is also said to give an individual courage and initiative. Impaired gallbladder function gives rise to indecision and timidity, and the person will be easily discouraged. The gallbladder, which is wood, supports the mind or heart, which is fire, in order to carry out decisions. It is often necessary to strengthen or tonify the gallbladder to support the heart. The gallbladder also has an influence on the quality and length of sleep. If the gallbladder is deficient, an individual will rise early and not be able to fall back to sleep. The liver and gallbladder depend on each other to perform their functions. The gallbladder's function of storing and excreting depends on the liver's function of ensuring the smooth flow of qi. And the liver's influence in planning our lives depends on the gallbladder's capacity to make decisions. The large intestine is the last fu organ we will be discussing in this episode. It is the element metal and is related to the lungs. It receives food and drink from the small intestine, reabsorbs some of the fluid, and excretes the remainder as stool. The large intestine receives qi from the lungs in order to perform its functions of peristalsis and defecation. If lung qi is deficient, it can cause constipation. If the large intestine is constipated, it can impair the lungs' descending function and cause shortness of breath. Okay, that's going to do it for this episode. If you have questions, please contact me at joel@AmericanDraqon.com. In our next episode, we will finish our discussion of the fu or yang organs. See you then.